If you are a leader or a manager, how can you tell if the people that you lead or manage are struggling with imposter syndrome? I've got the answer for you. You may or may not struggle with imposter syndrome, but chances are, in fact, almost guaranteed, that the people around you do. In fact, if you lead, manage, train, mentor, supervise, and in any way have authority over people, you need to understand imposter syndrome. You see, there's a lot of coping mechanisms with imposter syndrome, the symptoms of imposter syndromes, and they are the coping mechanisms that do two things. On one level, they help a person manage the anxiety that comes with the fear of being found out as a fraud. But on the other hand, they actually prevent someone from being found out as a fraud. I mean, apparently, there's really no fraudulence going on, but there's this apparent assumed sense of fraudulence. So it manages the anxiety while preventing them from being found out as a fraud. Now, I've got 6 symptoms, 6 coping mechanisms, and each one of them has a specific exterior behavior that you, as the mentor, leader, supervisor, manager, owner of the company, you see this pattern of behavior. But what you don't see is what's going on in the mind of the person who's exhibiting that behavior. In other words, the visible behavior is different from the thought process that generates it. But when you understand the thought process and map it to the behavior, then you can understand what is truly going on in the mind of people that struggle with imposter syndrome. All of that to say, in a very summarizing way, what you see is really not what you get. Now, there are 6 coping mechanisms, 6 symptoms that characterize the imposter syndrome, and each of the 6 symptoms has visible evidence that people on the outside see. But once you figure out what they're thinking, oh my gosh, it will completely change how you can have insight into the people that you lead and manage and supervise and have authority over. For example, the first symptom is the impostor cycle, which is the cycle of behavior that initially vacillates between over-preparing and procrastinating, ends up with a project well done, everybody's applauding, and then the person relieves. They're like, oh my gosh, that was a relief. That was close. They almost figured out I don't feel like competent. And then the cycle perpetuates. So on that cycle, what you see on the outside is superior performance and a capacity for excellence. They knock it out of the park. But what they're thinking on the inside is, OMG, this is killing me. They live in this perpetual exhaustion, anxiety, fear of fraudulence. The second symptom is the perfectionist, the one who, it's not done until it's overdone. These, what they display is they will rarely ask for help. They make very few mistakes. They don't tolerate their mistakes when they make it, and for them, things are never good enough. So that's what you see as their manager, mentor, supervisor, leader. But what they're truly thinking inside is very different. They're thinking, if I fail, that proves that I'm stupid, because I don't just fail, I am a failure. I don't make mistakes, I am a mistake. The third symptom, or the third coping mechanism, is that superhero. These are the people that appear to juggle multiple priorities. They've got all kinds of plates spinning in the air, and they do it well, and it's magical, and it's kind of intoxicating to watch. They don't delegate, but they get a lot done. And they rarely ask for help. That's what you see on the outside, but on the inside, they're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't drop a plate. I can't drop a plate. I can't not say, I can't say no. I can't not say yes. I can't offload anything. I have to take it all on, because if I really were smart, I don't need the help. I should be able to do it. I am superhuman. I am not allowed to show any flaw. So can you see how anxious this is, how debilitating it could be, how exhausting it is? What you see is a direct opposite of what they're thinking. You're seeing extraordinary behavior. Inside, they're feeling extraordinary stress. The fourth coping mechanism is what I call the Fascinator. This is somebody who's the life of the party. They're, they throw out little tidbits of wisdom. They use humor to bring levity. They often frequently tell stories about themselves and stories about their glory years. Lots of people that, I remember back in the day I used to, or I was responsible for, or I contributed this to. And they are great gregarious storytellers, but they seem to frequently are just self-focused. But people don't mind because their stories are great. So that's what you see on the outside. On the inside, what they're thinking is, oh my gosh, I have to keep them laughing. If I keep them laughing, not only will they like me more, but they won't realize that I really am not qualified and competent. As long as I can keep them laughing, they'll think I'm okay. I have to hide my incompetence with humor or wisdom or fascinating stories, or something even more insidious. I don't feel like I'm worthy enough, so I must attach myself to somebody who is. They're name droppers. They cozy up to the people of influence because on some level they don't feel like they have the influence or the worth. So even though they are the gregarious storytellers, the ones that are throwing out wisdom and humor bombs, inside there is a tremendous amount of fear of being found out as empty. They don't want to be found out as empty. The fifth coping mechanism is the fear of failure. What you see in people like this are people that they don't volunteer and they don't take risks. They tend to be very steady eddies. They're the ones that want to, evaluate all the options. They want to have all of the measures of safety in place. Those are definitely good things, but it can be taken to an extreme. There are also people that tend to procrastinate. They will procrastinate because they're not really sure how to do it, and if they can't do it right, they won't do it at all, or at least they'll delay the start of it. They're also the people that won't challenge the status quo because they think to themselves, what if I'm wrong? What if I am found as not having enough background information? What if I'm new here and this is just the way they've been doing it for decades and I want to come in and change it? Who do I think I am? So what they display is this kind of a setback, sitting down, falling back, stepping back kind of approach, which they seem to be easy to manage. They seem to be, not the problem child. But inside, they are filled with turmoil. It's this, what if I fail? I can't fail. I won't even chance the failure. That's the conversation they're having in their head. They're always thinking, what if I screw up? So I'd better play it safe. And then finally, the sixth coping mechanism is the fear or disdain of success. These are the people that, despite knocking everything out of the park and doing well, they don't take compliments. They don't like to be praised. They will completely dismiss the praise. They struggle with life balance. They put in long hours, and they often will speak of themselves with self-deprecating comments like, oh, I really, I don't deserve it, or it was because I had a great team. These are people that, believe it or not, disdain success or fear success, which sounds kind of counterintuitive. But the people that fear or disdain success, these are the people that they don't, it's not so much they fear the success, they fear that they don't have the ability to perpetuate the success. And inside what they're thinking is, again, if I succeed, how will I perpetuate it? Do I deserve it? What will others think of me? Will they still like me? How will it change me? This is where people that have financial reward related to their success struggle with deserve level. They think, oh, I don't deserve to make that much money. That just seems like an obscene amount of money to be paid. I don't know that I deserve it. So they fear or disdain the success that comes with the activity that they put in. I mean, it makes sense. You do the activity, you reap the reward. But there's a disconnect for people with this fear or disdain of success mentality. So again, whether you manage, train, mentor, supervise, coach, lead, manage people with imposter syndrome, I hope this helps give you a little bit of visibility into what you see versus what they're thinking. Because the picture of what they are giving you is a I don't want to say a false self. It's they are good workers. They are good-hearted people. They do work hard. But it's a lot disconnected from actually what they're thinking. So step one in helping to manage and train and lead and coach people with imposter syndrome is understanding the signals. And I hope this has helped you. Stay tuned. We'll have some more solutions for leaders of people with imposter syndrome, because now I'm going to give you some tips and strategies to maybe open the conversation and really narrow in on exactly how to lead your people through their imposter syndrome experience. So stay tuned.